something behind me. That didn't take long. So the last part of the last video, we had gone out, we had the thermals out. I actually had an H1N to collect audio with the plan of stitching the audio with the thermal together, and I had left the H1N, unfortunately, sitting on the truck. However, we did catch an owl sound, and I found it particularly interesting because when this owl first started going off, it was like, wait, that don't sound quite right. And I'll play it, I'll show it here. And you'll find out that Merlin doesn't have, did not identify it, which is not a surprise because not all owl sounds are cataloged. And when you're talking about, Merlin, eBird, something like that, they want specifics. And doing this, you do become a bit of an owl geek. I know that the first time I heard and I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's so cool. But, have a listen to it. I still think it's an owl. I just don't know which one it is. July 5th. Man, I tell you what, that sounds more like a human.
That sounded like an owl right there. I heard that.
Yeah, it'd be it. Start watching the skies. If there's birds, they'll start bombing you and you won't know it. July 5th. Man, I tell you what, that sounds more like a human.
That sounded like an owl right there. I heard that.
Yeah, it'd be it. Start watching the skies. If there's birds, they'll start bombing you and you won't know it. Let's see if I get mad and come this way. You want to go confront whoever that was?
I could hear that it was an owl. The last call, for sure.
Yeah.
The first couple of them sounded interesting.
I
was thinking more
if there's any
coyote.
caterwaul in it or not.
Is that what you call that gurgle in there that they do right at the very end?
Well, that's a twirl. The caterwaul is when they're really going off at each other, and it's usually a sexual call.
Dirty dogs.
So in doing these trips, some of the best parts are actually the conversations that you have with new people that you meet. And we have a brief conversation, and I had caught it on audio. I've actually listened to this conversation quite a few times because, Brent brings up a very eloquent point of, the conflict of evidence perception. And, I thought it over and I thought it over and I thought it over. I'm like, that is a stunning way of putting it. Because, we do, the Bigfoot's group as a whole seems to be a bit in conflict as to what is evidence, what standard that is. And then when you get to the perception part of it, that really kind of like rings to me. Because, we don't all have the same perception. We view things differently. Our sense of smell is different amongst us. Our sense of taste is different amongst us. Our hearing is absolutely different amongst us. And, it just a very robust world in which, when we perceive things at the individual level, how do we communicate them back and forth? I view things in argumentation. Ultimately, I want to be able to put together a string of arguments that support whatever statement I want to make. That's how I operate. I like the reasonable person standard. What reasonable argument can I make for a reasonable person to view my viewpoint? And that's kind of where I work with things. I don't really, I'm going out. I'm leaving preconceived notions behind. What I capture, and what I bring back, I bring back. That's what they do most of the time is fight with each other.
It is, man. It's...
Well, it comes down to the reason why is there's conflict with the information being presented and the quality of standard that a person has with what they consider actual viable evidence.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the big differences is people, aren't open to alternative things. And like Harry wasn't. I remember when I did the interview with him, he was like trying to tell me about, oh, hey, what will, I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was, but there's definitely a big issue with that. I think
You also have...
it's a conflict of evidence perception, really.
You have a really diverse, very diverse levels of that perception. You have individual groups who just think at that level, and then at that level, and at that level. And as they go into the fishbowl and start scrambling all over the place, they find ones that are of like kind.
Yeah.
My thinking, it's easy for me to group with people who think like me, because then it's not that hard to think outside the box.
Yeah, and it's kind of
some people can't step into some different thinking and navigate it. It's just more comfortable for them to be just like, oh, hogwash, horse shit on all that.
Yeah.
I'll just stay over here where it sounds right to me.
Deb did, on our drive back, Deb's pretty analytical.
Mm-hmm.
So on our drive back from Florida, she did a good synopsis of it. About, there is no set there it is. There's no set methodology in collection in the field. And there's no standard of methodology. And
It's developing a little bit, though.
she explained how that could cause issues. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't play...
Yeah. Devil's advocate.
No. You got guys like I said, we dropped Mike Ann's name a lot this weekend because
He does a great job.
he does a great job in how how to collect things. He's not telling you what to collect. He's telling you how to collect it.
Yeah.
How, you know, if you find something suspect, how to find the next one that might be suspect. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's his thing. He doesn't. He's outside the box.
Yeah, he does a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that he does, you know, he's
He doesn't get recognized half
no, he doesn't want the recognition
for what he's worth. Yes, and you can see that. And he's genuine. And
He's
that's
genuine,
wicked
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Now, by this point, I had been up quite a long time, and very little rest, and we've been going pretty hard, really, since leaving home. The flight, the drives, the hikes, the running through the woods, all that. And it was starting to take its toll. And as we was going out and investigating, you know, obviously I had forgotten the H1N. I was starting to see lights a bit in the woods that, you know, John and Brent weren't seeing. So that tells me that there's something going on, you know, with my vision, telling me that you need to, you know, lay down and catch up on your rest. And yeah, it's kind of like, you know, you're walking by and you're like, okay, how come nobody else saw that spot of light? Did you guys see that? Did you see that spot of light over there? Did you see that light over there? Did you see that light over there? Okay. And I'm sure some of it too was I was getting a pretty bad headache from looking through the thermal, because you're going to lose your night vision in one eye. So you got night vision in one, and you got no night vision in the other, and that's also causing headaches and maybe producing some of the flashing that I'm seeing. So yeah, I would call it a night early that night, and but Jonathan would be out and about in the woods late into the night searching. So I had gone to bed, and Brent had gone to bed, and listening to the audio that we collected for the night, I knew that Jonathan was still awake and adventuring out into the night. He would then return somewhere around 1:45, according to the audio, and I would eventually hear him climbing into his tent. And somewhere around, I think 2:15, something like that. And the audio recorded a good bit. So we have this first recording, and it's going to repeat throughout the night. And at first I thought it was Jonathan's cooler. But then after doing a little bit of research, a little bit of deep diving, it's actually the gas tank on the truck. The night temperature is decreasing. It's causing the gasoline to condense is probably not the right word, contract. And so the gas cap has to let air into the tank. And that's what that particular noise is. Sound, that pop in between or grunt in between my snores is what I'm hearing. And we captured it 3 times throughout the night, and at first I thought it was me as well, but right now I don't believe it was me at all. I do believe that it was another animal, and that we will see that animal a little later on. And first one up. Tell you what, Brad brought us to an incredible place. And oh, he's up. Morning.
Hey, you want any pizza? Pepperoni, 2 pieces.
I think I'm all set for right now. Thanks for the offer, though.
I could just go with this one.
Yeah, on the other side there, up a little past that haircut, is that Buck Creek. There at Buck Creek, there was a sighting, a couple sightings actually. Well, one sighting, one audio.
I was gonna say Buck Creek sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's on the other side there. It's closed, I think, still. But right next to it, across that little creek, is probably one of the most amazing dispersed camping spots. Or, you know, it's just a whole loop of camping spots that nobody ever goes to now. And so, man, there's like so many spots back there that access that creek. And but Buck Creek, yeah, there was a lot of a couple different reports coming from there.
You see how bad it is? Or walk back here in this field.
Somewhere where it's shady, huh?
Yeah, I mean, did you have a good amount of shade down that way?
You know, it's spotty. It's just what you see here. You know, it's trees, fern, grass, flowers, patches of trees.
Unless you want to hold up, or we can, I mean,
No, I'm good. I just take a little walk here. I don't want to leave that truck running too long, but I should have started it a while ago.
Okay.
Power up that power bank.
I'm going to take a look in this field behind us on while you're letting it power up.
Good, man.
Yo, boo boo, boo 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 boo, boo 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 boo, boo 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 boo, boo 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 boo, boo 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 boo. Shoe prints. Deer. Boo 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 boo. Boo 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 boo. Yo, bear. It's just a bare necessities, a simple bare necessities. Babu. Babu. I like to find something more definitive than that. Hey, Yogi. How would you like to get back on that bucket? Hey, boo boo. Vehicle tracks. Old vehicle tracks. Hey, boo boo boo. A lot of small deer prints. This is what had caught my eye. Areas like this. As you see me step, right, there's no doubting that's a human track. Interesting. I mean, I ain't going that far. I'm just looking, you know, where the foliage is at. I wanted to look at these dry areas here just to see if there's any kind of large track. Somebody stacked sticks here one time. The views and the vistas are amazing, even from down in the valley. It sure is pretty down in here. I think what I might do though, go back there and take a seat in the shade. Put down my poncho and just enjoy the view. See what happens. You know? Oh, that felt good. Just getting off the wheels.
Anyway, so he was running a drone up in this area, and he caught something up a little further up this area here on it was a bipedal figure that I don't know what it was. You zoom in, there's no the information isn't there to really determine what it is, but it stands up and just starts walking away, and it was standing right next to the river in an area that's not really accessible. And you know, so he's got some compelling evidence. It's the same guy that had that whoop experience out there at the pond area.
Well, this whole area, I mean, just coming down that road was like, oh wow, you know.
Low road least traveled, pretty much. I don't know, I try to find the most remote spots and just go there and try to put yourself in situations. And this area here is one of the most remote areas that you can drive to in a day, you know, not spend like 6 hours driving. But within a few hours, it seems the most suitable. Not a lot of people come back here because there's no value for them. So it's just a lot of explorers, mushroom hunters, maybe Bigfooters, just people out taking a drive on like their motorcycles or whatever. I gotta go back to the car and get something to drink.
Okay.
My water.
Alright.
We'll be back in a few.
Have you had eyes or ears on Jonathan?
Not much you can go right here. You have your walkie on you, right? You can hear too? I forgot mine.
Mine's charging still, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Not much you can do past here. It's a decently sized island here, so it's understandable. But if he comes back saying he sees prints, we're all walking over there.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm down.
we're going. Sounds like there's something behind me. That didn't take long. Anything?
I think human stuff.
What's that?
All human stuff, and I think like a big, whether it's an elk, mule deer, or whatever. Actually, I did a little 1-minute video, strung my tape out, but the 4 steps, the stride of that thing was, what the hell was it? Just over 7.5, 7 foot 9 inches, heel to heel on 4 steps. So from ass to nose, that thing would have been 9, 10 feet long.
Yeah.
You know, I've been trying to get a hold of, like, even when I was just up there way back, I was trying to call on the radio, nobody answers me. Breaker 19, Breaker 19, hello. Want to try to let you guys know where I was at, but there was.
Should be on the same thing. Let me oh, go back and get something to eat. And
Yeah, right on. I'm starving. I could eat a Bigfoot right now.
I just sat there and took my camo net, stuck it up over my head, and watched the area.
Yep.
Kind of wish she was back here because I kept looking across like, is that a head staring at me, or is it just me sitting here too long? This area down here, they wanted to get to it, but they couldn't cross.
They couldn't cross right here?
Mm-mm.
Really? I ended up right out on that island out there.
Huh.
I found my way across a bunch of dead logs, rocks, and crawled through the water. And then at one point there, I ended up taking a bath before I came over here. Just the hell of it. But I will tell you one thing that happened. So I was up on that last island up there, and I was looking up where the riverbank was, way up there in the clearing, and I see this big ball of dust. And I'm looking, I'm like, holy shit. I don't see nothing moving. And I'm like, I ain't seeing shit. And then it clears. I'm like, no, I wasn't seeing shit. So I get out my phone, I'm like, what can you say? You know, this is what I saw. Well, that was the end of it, right? I continue walking up the island. I find these, what I just told you, those tracks, and took the tape out, and this, that, and the other thing. Well, next thing you know, I look up there and I see this, like, somebody had a magnifying glass, and I see a light.
Huh.
And I look a little better, and I'm like, what is that? Got my phone, and somebody walks around it. There's a road right there.
Oh.
Four-wheel, there was a car parked there, and some kid got out, and he was, like, staring at me.
Huh.
And then a four-wheeler was down. I don't know if it's a dirt road. It's on the other side of the river.
Yeah, you could hear vehicles every now and then.
Where's, Jesse and,
They went back to his car about an hour ago.
they went back to the camp
Yeah.
area? You know, turn on the AC.
Maybe.
It'll start coming around here in a little bit, huh? We get that sun to go down over the mountain. It goes out for quite a ways, just like this. All sandy up and down and out and about.
No tracks then?
Just
Human?
stuff that I can figure, you know. I took out my flags because I got up into here and thought I'm kind of away from, you know, things a little bit from this trail. And I found where I could see where toes had pushed in with it.
You alright?
I don't know what the hell it is, but
Something go down your back?
it felt like it was biting the shit out of me. I don't know what it was, it freaked me out, boy. It stung.
It's kind of interesting. I mean,
So like, you know how a grasshopper feels when it grabs a hold of your skin?
oh,
That's what it felt like.
well, I mean, they went up, I'm assuming. I heard a bit of noise after they left. Something was giving off a scent I didn't recognize. It stunk, whatever it is. And then I thought I could smell her perfume, but they never showed back up.
I can still smell that.
I don't know, whatever. I wanted to come back down through this way. There's a large rock.
Are you going down that way because you want to go down that way, or you want to go back up this trail?
I want to go back up that trail, but I want to see that side of the hill, because like I said, I turned around at one point and I was, what is that?
There's something behind you.
Yeah, there were some noises behind me. There was some stench. The garbage stench, I mean, it smelled like shit. What it smelled like. I don't know. I'm going to go through this way and we'll go around again. My walking stick's too damn big. I was getting ready to afford that when you walked around.
Definitely a Gandalf.
Yeah.
There's shit, bank like that over there. I mean, real dark, shady area. Bigfoot could lay right down on the side of that bank. Nobody's ever seen him ever. All day long. Nobody comes down here, and if they do, they aren't looking for Bigfoot. Look at that root system hanging down over top of. There's like a something big rock or something up there, and a big root system, and it's undercut up underneath.
Yep.
Big hole up under there.
We'll go take a look at it.
Yeah.
There's a hole right here we can go through. Go to your left. Yep. Got it. I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Like some sort of aspen tree, like back home poplar, but that's pretty cool bark, unless that's some sort of lichen on the outside of the bark and the.
Yeah, it must just been all shadow play and deadfall. Yeah, let's head back and get something to eat.
Yeah, it goes right up in there. Like there's like pirate up in there or something.
Is that a, oh, you think it's a den?
Ton of it. Yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of activity more right. As a matter of fact, I thought I just saw something right there. Like something shining off of me. Like maybe that was a reflection, but I just saw something, little light colored something. That definitely could be a den up in there, huh? Goes up in there too. Not very far up in there, I guess.
Well, there's another cutaway right there. This must have been what I was looking at.
Oh, okay.
So I just sat there, I took my scarf off and draped it over me and like a camo net and just sat there and watched.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any, like I said, other than across the river. I was like,
Well, good cool spot to take a rest anyway.
I'll get off my legs for a while.
Yes, sir. It was fun playing in the river. Damn near vertical right there at the end.
Don't mind me, I'm just taking my time.
Please do take your time. I don't know where to fall back down the hill with all that gear on.
Alright.
I wonder if the deer are responsible for it. Nah, it's just a dead one, so last year's.
It looked like scissors bites off the end if the deer are biting.
How's that?
It looked like scissor bites. The deer are feeding on the...
Because they tear?
No.
Pull?
No, their teeth are like scissors in the front.
Oh, alright.
Because they can feed on woody browse. They can actually eat wood. They'll actually eat soil.
Yeah, by the looks of their shit, that's all they do eat dirt.
Yep.
A lot of them animals out there. Oh, I'll tell you something that I'm on to. I've, you know, it was way back when I first got into this. I come into these hemlock groves, and areas anywhere from this big to 5 foot around, something's tearing into the ground about 2 inches, ripping a whole big spot out.
Mineral site.
And I've heard more this and that, and Billy Hayes said it's the beavers. They like to eat the roots. Well, the last time I found this up away from any flow, it was up on a mountain. I'm like, ain't no beaver up here. So I dug down in the ground myself in areas where they hadn't dug in that area. And what I have found is attached to the roots of the hemlock are these little miniature balls of some sort of fungus. And I'm gonna go, I got them in, I took my jeweler's loop out of a little black case and I put them in there. I'm gonna take and go get them tested and find out what kind of fungus it is and see if it's edible. And I think that's what they're after. And if that is the case, I can't imagine it's just one animal that knows that. I think a lot of things are digging into the ground, getting to underground mushroom that's attached to that root.
Maybe.
Now, it ain't no great big huge meal, because as much digging as that I did, I mean, I couldn't have filled a spoon. Holy Jesus, I thought there was a naked lady standing right there. Jesus! Right on. God, my brain could not register what I was looking at.
I'm sure you guys already saw me.
No.
No, I saw you. I didn't say anything though.
You're gonna see me before you go.
Oh, shit.
I kept waiting for Brent to come around.
That's where I put my recorder last night. Up on top of that pole.
It's a good spot.
Did you get anything on it?
I don't know. I'll have to, go over it,
Yeah.
put it on the Audacity and speed through it, see if there's anything loud. And then if you want to go through the grueling task of listening to a piece of audio for 9 hours,
Yeah, no thanks.
I do, but it takes a long time.
Yes,
So
it
you
does.
can't just skip to the parts where there's movement or sound?
If the
No.
recorder could recognize what sounds you want to hear and put a mark on it, yes. I mean, I have piles of audio where I've done just that. I'm doing dishes, paperwork, taking care of stuff at home, I'm listening, and I'm bookmarking.
Yeah.
And that way I can timestamp it and then put it, now that I've started to learn to use Audacity, I can put it on that and then at least go to those time frames.
Yeah.
See, I don't trust computer programs too much. I trust my ears.
Yes, sir.
And Yeah, it takes forever to go through audio. I mean, if you put out anything you put out, say we put out a total of 10 cameras and 10 recorders,
Yeah.
and we're out there 10 hours. That's 80 hours worth of stuff to go back through, you know. And a lot of times you'll go in, like our last two outings.
I would think you got to pay enough attention to analyze. I mean,
Mhm.
with what you guys are doing, you have to pay enough attention to analyze the footage that you're getting. You know.
Our last two outings, I didn't think we had anything, and then I started going through it. I went through it kind of quick because that's my bias was we ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
I went through it kind of quick, and then went through it again. I was like, wait, what's that? So I pulled out. I'm like, oh, that's not me. That's not my wife. Who the hell's talking? You know. And then we went through it another time, and then we're both like, what are those lights? We put it on the big screen TV. I used my phone. I didn't use the computer. Put it on the big screen TV, and we're both like,
Elk or
what is that?
I took a video of it and put
Did
the
you
tape
figure out what
down
it
on
was?
it.
Or
And,
No.
measured out, I think, 7 foot 9 inches, heel to heel on all 4 steps.
Yeah.
So that animal had to have been 9 foot from butt to nose, but a lot of human stuff. And then I did make it to that big island, and we're not that big island with all the trees, but that
That other one over there?
the other larger island.
How deep was the water?
Actually, there's a tree that goes diagonal down to where the two join, and then one cuts back. So I was like, boop, boop, across the water. It was only about that deep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Got up to the other end of it, saw dust in the clearing up there, and thought I was like witnessing a cougar attacking deer or bear fight or something. I just kind of blew it off because I thought maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me, but the dust cleared. I'm like, oh, that was something. A little while after meandering up in through there, I looked up, saw this little shiny thing like somebody had a magnifying glass. Eventually got to the phone up there. There was a car up there and somebody standing beside it, and then a 4-wheeler came by. So it was the dust from them coming by. Blowing up into the air.
Driving on the island itself?
No, there's a road right on the other side of the river.
Oh,
A trail, enough for a car, because the one
yeah.
was a car. He had like a SUV of,
over there? Yeah. Yeah, there's
Subaru or
various
something.
camping spots that are next to the river. Yeah,
You didn't come back this way at all, did you?
we did, yeah.
Just once, or?
when?
Just once, yeah.
Just this is the only time we walked way down that way.
Okay, this is the first time you've come back since you left?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hear voices?
Uh,
'Cause I swear when we were walking down here.
yeah, I did hear voices, but then he started talking about those other people, so I thought maybe that.
Well, I don't know if they're that there. If it was a lake, I would say yeah. But since there's a river, I think is going to be
drown it
ruining.
out.
It's going to ruin the frequency of the voices. I don't. It would, it'd be surprising if we heard them over here, over that river.
Because after you left, all I did was I took the scarf and just draped it over me like a camouflage net and just sat there. After a bit, I heard something behind me. So I got a little bit concerned. I started having visions of bears biting on my head. But, that kind of stopped. And for a little bit there, I had a strong smell of, I don't know what. I can't place it. And then I thought maybe you came back because it was like maybe a half hour or so later. Your perfume, I could smell it. And
Seriously?
I can still smell it in the woods.
I didn't even put it on at like 8 o'clock this morning.
For guys,
well, it's
pick up on that stuff.
yeah, but you had left the area. There's no trace of it. I'm like, that to me, I thought was you were coming back,
Yeah.
and you never showed up.
Yeah. So here we can go stand in the shade here real quick. So what would you guys like to? You guys want to check out that dude's encounter site?
I got to buzz down and go grab my recorders.
Okay.
Because I know there's not enough SD for any of them to still be recording, and I need to get them power banks into the sun and revamp that to get them out tonight.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's
Make
cool.
a quick trip down there.
So yeah, if you want to do that, we're gonna hang by the river here for a few because it's so hot.
Oh, okay.
And then we can go out and visit that site when it's a little cooler. But Is this the one that I left out here?
Yeah, I found it.
Is it?
But did you find it?
Yeah.
I told him to look.
I was gonna forward and
It stretches around on the other side. See this ridge right here?
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of that, and actually takes you back probably about 2 miles. And so it's an accessible logging road. But again, it's like
That's cool.
cliff. Not going to see me personally driving it. I will be.
We don't have
in
to
a
go up
seat.
there. I was just joking.
No,
I was
but we can
like,
actually go. We can
Bigfoot's
actually go
right
up there.
you know?
I mean, because there's hikes up here, and that's what those side roads are. In fact, at that guy's sighting area is a junction point where it goes up. Now I think it's closed 6.8 miles back because of a slide, but you can kind of get back up in that area. So I'd be more than down to do something like that. We can do a night drive. I can sit, in the back of one of your guys' truck, and
we could porcupine it with the
Throw the
thermals.
chairs right in the
Yeah.
back,
I
sleeping
got-
bags, the
That's
whole
why
works.
I brought the clamps just to do that, just
Yeah.
to clamp all the cameras off to the vehicle. And
I think we should do that then, because
All right.
because if you think about it, a lot of what the forest is here is this right here. It's really kind of hard to get through. If you're covered in hair, you're not going to want to go through it because it's going to be ripping your hair out, which I think is a vital source to their survival. So using logging roads in areas that aren't really accessible, I think is kind of where it's at, where you'll have those type of encounters, maybe one rocking right across the road, be like, oh shit.
That's
There you
where-
are.
Yep, that's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Many have said that.
fishing
Standing
technique,
right
covering
in the road.
ground.
Yeah.
Seems like the only good spot we get to see them.
Yeah. I know, no shit, huh?
Right?
Statistically speaking, it's the best.
Statistically speaking,
it's the best
along the
spot.
roads where everybody sees them,
Yeah.
but we all run around the woods because it's fun.
Yeah, so even tonight we can go back to his encounter location, and we can also drive up that road. Like say it's only like 6.8 miles until I think it's actually I think it's that road. It's one of the other road or one of the two roads. It has a sign right there that gives you a warning. But
Right on.
yeah, I think it'd be cool to drive the roads
Cool
at night,
beans.
doing thermal. Especially if we can get outside of the car and have the option of a 360 view of because I did that in Steenberg's little cool
Toyota.
truck. Yeah, I was in the back there, and it's a great for observation and seeing what's kind of going on.
It's a good thing they drove by, because I was like, where the hell am I?
Yeah.
I pulled in, they were there, and I was like, oh, it must be camp workers or something. I didn't recognize anybody, and then I better ask somebody, and they pull up next to me. There's Thomas and Nikki and Brent in the back, and I'm like, how the hell did this happen?
There's my crew.
Yeah. All right. So
Have fun down by the river. We'll
all right,
see you in
cool.
a bit.
We'll talk to you guys in a few.
Yep.